Right on. Welcome everybody. Welcome Tim
Thank you.
to the podcast. Very, very formal entree into podcasting. We used to have a sound intro, a song intro, and when I listened to these because I look for sound clips that we can play later.
You got tired of hearing that song?
Yeah, I just got tired of hearing the song.
Yeah.
Got tired of hearing my own intro. Like, okay, all right, can we just start talking and get this over with?
I can
Icebreaker.
hum something for you if you want.
Let's hear it.
Now that I'm on the spot.
Tim is Tim's a 5AM'r, and I've known him for a few years now. His wife now works for us. I do it with quotation marks because she's doing it almost out of the kindness of her heart. She doesn't need to work, but she enjoys being here,
Yes.
enjoys doing it, and she's awesome, which is great to have, and that gives us leverage in dealing with Tim.
Yes.
Yeah, because we make her happy, Tim's happy.
She can translate for me.
But he also works in the food industry and snack industry, and I've had a couple conversations with him in the up front while having coffee. And it's fascinating to me. I a lot of times we get members, and we have so many members that sometimes I don't know what they do. I was talking to Samuel this morning. Samuel comes in, and he does our he does a
6-7-ish.
Yeah, 6-7-ish. And he works for a big development company.
Mhm.
And he started talking to me about zoning. I'm like, oh my God. He goes, I can help you out with zoning. And I'm like, okay, great. Same with Tyler Wood. He works for a
Yeah.
commercial development company, and
Oh, I didn't know that.
he works in the land use zoning area.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah. So he's helping help me out too.
That's cool.
And Tim works in snack food, so he's going to help me get snack foods.
Yes, which I didn't bring any.
Yeah.
No samples?
Yeah.
Yeah, no samples. we got the cool overlay with all the snack foods. But he works for a company out of Fairfield, and it's Calbee, right?
Yes, Calbee
nice.
American.
Yeah. How long have they been around?
Calbee's been around since 1948 in Japan.
Oh, wow.
So it
Oh, wow.
started in Japan right after the war. The Japanese were deficient in calcium and B1 vitamins, and that's where the name came from, Calbee, half calcium, half B1. So they created a chew to give to the Japanese after the war, and then shrimp trips were created because a lot of the shrimps were really small, and we were sending over a lot of wheat flour, and they didn't really know what to do with wheat flour. So the founder created a shrimp chip utilizing nature's goodness, and that also provided a lot of calcium and B1 vitamins for the Japanese that they were deficient in after the war. And so that's where the company started.
What a fascinating
Yeah,
story.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's like an ingenuity, man.
Yeah.
We got all this flour. We got all these dead shrimp.
Yes.
Let's put them in a bin and roll them out in the sun, dry them out, make these chips.
Yeah.
That's a total bro thing too. Like, I bet that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But the Japanese are good at that. So they were really creative and making sure that they use all of what nature gives them.
That's fantastic. So, it is 100% of their operations here in the U.S. now?
No, it's a $2.3 billion company,
Oh,
and
okay.
200 of it is here in the U.S. So I'm responsible for the U.S. business.
Okay.
But the bigger part of the company is outside of the U.S.
How often do you go to Japan?
3 or 4 times a year. I just got back. I went beginning of July for about 5 days.
I worked in the investment industry for a lot of years, too many years maybe. And at one point, the company that I worked for, the last company that I worked for, Instinet, was bought by Nomura Securities in Japan. I never did make a trip to Japan, but my boss did, and he would tell stories about going to Japan to do business. And a lot of business in Japan gets done in the after work,
Yes.
not at work, where they go out, the executives go out, go to bars,
Mm-hmm.
they drink, they have fun.
Yeah.
And they get up and make the call in the early morning.
Yep. And you don't talk about the night before.
And you say, is it still a thing?
It's still a thing. You're not
Wow.
supposed to. If Jamie was up on the table dancing, we don't talk about it the next day. In the U.S., we would, because it would be funny.
Yeah.
And,
Remember that time?
Exactly. Immediately the next day, we'd be talking about it.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to.
You don't
that
bring up old stuff.
Yeah.
You just pretend that nothing happened.
Oh, interesting.
Oh yeah, I like that part.
Yeah.
I'm usually the one that does the stupid thing.
Melanie right now is
Yeah.
taking notes.
Oh, she knows.
It is true, and it's kind of a fascinating thing about the culture there and the business culture. But a lot of business gets done that way, and you have to develop those relationships. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And so, roughly, 1/4 of the business, maybe 1/4 of the business is being done here in the United States. I did notice. Do you sell some of the Japanese brand treats here? Or
Yeah.
chips, snacks?
We were just doing it in the Asian stores 3 to 4 years ago. We started expanding because we knew that business was popular, and
Right.
especially the Gen Zers, they're very interested in other types of food from
Oh,
around
yeah.
the world. So really spent more time going into Costco and going to Safeway and going to the big retailers in the US and trying to build out that section. So when you go to the Asian section of the store, it's not just teriyaki sauce and soy sauce. We're trying to expand it to add some more snack items,
Snack foods,
and since we're the leader in the world, we have the credibility to get that space because we're the #1 Asian snack.
Are you guys like
in the world?
So you could use the Yakuza tactics and go in and like throw headlocks on these store managers and get the store space, take them out back, and then get top shelf space.
Well, usually you don't have to do that anymore. You just go to
the old days,
the headquarters, and do that.
Okay.
So a funny story that I used to sell Slim Jims, and Macho Man Randy Savage was our guy.
Oh yeah.
Snapping in the Slim Jim.
So we would bring him into buyer meetings. So we'd bring him to Walmart.
Really?
And he'd wear his leather
that's
red and
awesome.
yellow, and he'd walk in there and go, "Okay, which one of you guys is the buyer?" And he would pretend like he wants to beat him up, and they loved it.
That's awesome.
So you would
I would
be able to get a little extra
shelf space.
facings on this in the shelf.
Get the
because
end
you brought
aisle.
in- because you brought in Randy, and everybody loved him. So
That's so funny.
that stuff still works.
How many products? How many core products do you have that drive your business here in the U.S.?
Here in the U.S., it's Harvest Snaps. So
Okay.
roughly
I've seen Harvest Snaps,
2/3 of our business is Harvest Snaps. So you usually find that in the produce department.
Okay.
So if you go to Safeway, you'll find it in the produce department. So that is what we consider our better for you business, because we do mill peas and crush them, mix them with a little bit of rice, and then season it. So it is a semi-healthy item because it's not heavily produced, or it's not deep fried. It is baked. And so moms feel a little bit better about giving those products to their kids and sharing it as a family. So,
yeah, I've seen that too.
yeah, that's about 150 of the 200.
And do you have a team of people that go out and go to those stores, or do you negotiate? Do you have to go store by store, region by region, or can you negotiate that at the senior office level?
At the headquarter level. So for example, you don't have any Kroger's here in the Bay Area, but Ralph's in Southern California, Fred Meyer up in Oregon is part of Kroger, and Kroger is headquartered in Cincinnati. So my Kroger person will go to Cincinnati, negotiate those deals. And, we're technically salespeople, but they're actually buying. I'm buying shelf space. I'm buying ads. I'm negotiating for digital space on their platform. So I'm usually the one that ends up doing all the buying.
Interesting.
And spending a lot of money. So the food business is very expensive, and that's why you see sometimes high prices on food, because I got to pay about $65 a SKU to get into a retailer per store.
Wow.
So it adds up. So if
and
I
then
get 10 SKUs, I'm spending
so $65 that's just to get into the store, and then you still have distribution, right? And do you guys self-distribute, or do you use a wholesale distributor?
For Harvest Snaps, we're lucky because that's through the produce department. So a lot of retailers like Sprouts, for example, have a dedicated warehouse for their produce. So their watermelons and their avocados have their own network. So we get to piggyback on that. That helps us out a lot. So we don't have to go through those distributor networks, because they will tack on about 20 to 25% margin. And that jacks up our price point. So we can kind of get around that by going direct with some of the retailers like Sprouts.
Do you, on the and so you'll deliver to a certain produce supplier, and then they're responsible for going in and stocking the shelves.
Yeah, the produce suppliers aren't third party anymore, so they're direct. So they will be the produce warehouse for Sprouts that they own. And so when that store, let's say in Concord, needs 5 pallets of produce, we'll be able to tack on a pallet of our snacks. They'll self-order it and self-deliver and do it through their own network. So we prefer that because that helps keeps our retails down.
Mm-hmm. Man, there's a lot of steps.
Yeah, everybody thinks the food business is easy.
And then
Not as straightforward.
even at the retail
Yeah.
store, the margins are terrible at the retailers.
They are. So all this talk about retail margins, 2 to 3%.
Yeah.
Because you're hearing about it in New York
Yeah,
with the
Mondami, yeah.
store run or state run stores.
Right.
That is true. The margins are low, but the fees that I pay up front, that's where they make their money. So like Costco doesn't make any money selling groceries or whatever. They make their money on memberships.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with grocery. They make their money on the upfront costs that I have to pay to get in there and all the other fun nuisance fees. They charge me when I'm late if I make a delivery. They charge me when I'm early. They charge me if there's a nail that's in the wrong direction on a pallet. So all those fees are where they make their money. And you don't hear about that, but I do because it's expensive.
Wow. Is your relationship with those retailers protected by contract?
No.
Wow.
So their contracts can change. A lot of times I'm getting hit with extra fees. Hey, beginning January 1st, we're going to start charging you 2% for this. And if you don't, well, then you don't have product in our store. So that's your out.
Oh.
Yeah. And there's, so I working for a global company, it's kind of cool because I'm able to talk to the other guys, like the folks in the UK. That's against the law. Charging for slotting and charging all these nuisance fees and
to do that overseas.
To do that overseas, every country's outlawed that except for us. So,
weird.
That's part of the reason why groceries are a little bit more expensive here.
Interesting.
That's really interesting. There's a lot of people that they think about it. I want to develop a product, or I got this idea for something. I'll just go to the grocery stores.
Yeah.
And they'll put it on the shelves. That really is how. Let me ask you that, because before we came on, we were talking about some of the products that we sell in our store, which is Perfect Bar, the RX bar, both of which have been bought by bigger companies and done very well. Is the best path, or is it the hard? Let me ask you this way: is the hardest path through the grocery stores?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's better to build your brand online.
Right.
The direct to consumer path is what you want to do. And, you talked about Thorne, and that's how they did it. And that's why Procter Gamble got so excited about their model, because they don't do that. They're brick and mortar. Everything Procter Gamble does.
I didn't even think about that.
So they have such a good platform that their thinking is okay, how can I do the same thing for Metamucil, which is a Procter Gamble item? How do I get that to ride on the same Amazon truck as the Thorne items? So they need to figure that out. And that's the hardest part of this business. I'm not good at direct to consumer either. Our brands are pretty much brick and mortar, but there is an audience out there that doesn't want to go to the store anymore. So we've got to make sure that we have the subscriptions that Thorne is so good at, and some of these other direct to consumer brands. That is a key initiative for a lot of companies. And that's something that I probably missed the boat on, especially with our Asians brands. We can do some more kitting and subscriptions that we haven't really done. And that's what gets companies like Procter & Gamble and Unilever bought Groons for a lot of money. And so that's really where the business is moving, is who's got the best direct to consumer model that they can piggyback on and build a business for.
RX bar. I do want to come back to Thorne, so let's not forget to talk about Thorne. It just happened. Procter & Gamble paid 3.8 billion, which is 6 times more than it was worth 3 years ago.
Wow.
3 years ago, some private equity firm purchased it from the original founders. I think it was the original founders they bought.
Yeah, it was L. Catterton that bought it. Yeah.
And they bought it for about roughly 550 million.
Yeah.
And then sold it 3 years. Well, and then it was turned over again 3 years later for 6 times that, which is just an absolute unbelievable multiple for a private equity firm. We were talking about RX bar, and Jamie and I remember back in the day when we'd go to the local competitions, like here, and we had them ourselves at our events. they would come and they'd have a 10 by 10 tent and fold out tables.
Yeah.
They didn't even have table drapes.
Yeah.
They had a
Just
banner,
straight tables.
straight tables of
Yeah,
banners,
banner hanging off the front of the table.
and then paper plates with samples
Yeah.
of the
Little
bars.
toothpicks sticking out of it.
Yeah.
You-
Maybe they had toothpicks.
Well, you needed that toothpick for later, right?
Oh yeah, he did. I remember telling people the first time I tried it. I remember walking by the booth, picking one up, and I was like, "That's just a fruit roll up, all mashed into a little square." From a kid being a kid, the fruit roll ups. Little did I know that the fruit roll ups could have been a huge hit.
Yeah,
but they ended up selling to
Mondelez.
Oh yeah, for $600 million. Remarkable. And I've always said CrossFit should think about how they can.
No, I'm sorry. Kellogg's bought.
Oh, that's right.
I thought it was
Kellogg's.
General Mills or
No, it was Kellogg's.
Kellogg's.
He's right.
Okay.
And but it was it always struck me as like, why doesn't CrossFit to create this ecosystem where it becomes like a what do they call them, accelerator or startups,
an incubator.
Incubator. There you go, incubator. For companies to roll through there. But Perfect Bar was another one that was sold for a nice multiple. That again distributed through CrossFit gyms. Fit Aid's another one.
Yeah.
There's a new one up and coming now, which is Re-Up, which is Fuel for. I don't know. Fuel for Fire. Fuel for Fire got bought because Fuel for Fire is.
Did they get bought? I thought they went out of business.
My buddy worked there. Jim Elin was a VP of
Fuel for
sales
Fire?
for a long
Oh,
time.
really?
Yeah. And I was able to hire him about 3 years ago because it wasn't really going anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, everybody works at those small companies to get the buyout, right? We're waiting for Mondelez or Kellogg's to come buy us out, and then you walk away with a couple $1 million. That's kind of the goal. I did that at Archer, which used to be called Country Archer. I was there about 11 years ago. We built that business, and the goal was to have a pathway to 100 and walk away with a couple $1 million.
Right.
Well, 20 years ago, that happened a lot. So you'd see a lot of brands transacting. Recently, probably in the last 10 years, it hasn't happened as much as it used to. So a lot of brands fizzled out. So I think Fuel for Fire realized, hey, there is a business there. We'll figure out how to keep it going, but pouring more money into it is probably not the right answer.
Yeah.
Because it's expensive.
Yeah. And we look at Thorne or we look at RX Bar and think, wow, that'd be awesome. But there's 100 other companies behind them that didn't make it. And especially right now, one of the things I've learned recently is that the private equity is full. Like they are full of companies. They are way over invested apparently in companies and having trouble liquidate some of their holdings, which would explain why CrossFit wasn't sold.
Yeah.
By private equity. Their portfolios are full. So there's probably not a lot of cash to go around and make acquisitions. They got to unload some of the shit that they have. But the Thorne one is interesting because of the multiple. And what you said, I wasn't aware of. And did we say this on air or not? Regarding the distribution through looking for distribution online, right?
Yeah.
And I hadn't thought about that with Thorne. I was like, what are they interested in? Just not have supplements. And I looked at the Procter Gamble's portfolio of stuff. And so their primary interest is one, obviously supplementation, because they don't have any supplementation. Thorne is high quality. They sell through, they've sold through hospitals for years. That if you get vitamin D and it says 5,000 IUs, it's highly likely it's 5,000 IUs through Thorne. There's a lot of supplement companies where that's a problem. That's a real big issue. Is the quality of the product itself.
All the time for it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they've got that. They've got the quality, but then they've got now this distribution model that could work for something like Metamucil, you said.
It could. I think they love the subscription model. The consumers are getting the same thing day in and day out. The only subscription I have is Butcher Box. I get that once a month and I'm pretty consistent.
Yeah, that's cool.
After 5 years, you just don't even think about it anymore. It's just part of your normal routine. So I think Procter Gamble and Unilever and all the other big food companies are trying to find those brands that mean something to somebody and see how they can piggyback or even build upon that. Does Thorne now create a Metamucil type item and they get rid of that brand and they can charge more for it too, because People really trust that brand, and
Yeah.
you know, some of their brands may not have the same amount of trust.
Feel free to jump in anytime because
Yeah.
this stuff fascinates the shit out of me. But with respect to Thorne, one of the big concerns within the CrossFit community, and I've already, my friend Zia, who owns CrossFit Counterculture, she's already said we're not going to sell Thorne anymore with the instant fear of the big corporate capture. My question is there incentive? Do you see Thorne coming in, or do you see Procter Gamble coming in and changing the formula, or finding cheaper ways to manufacture it, or putting filler in? Or I mean, you know what I mean? The fear is that they're going to ruin the product.
There is a history of that.
Yeah.
And most companies have found ways to do that. Pepsi just bought Siete Foods. And
I heard about that.
And that was, people are now saying that, hey, the ingredient list has changed from what it was 3 or 4 years ago. They're minor and they're subtle, and very few people will recognize that. But the savings that PepsiCo was able to get by making a few of those changes and keeping the supply chain intact, are better than the 3 or 4 people that are complaining. The Procter and Gamble's and the Unilevers of the world, I think they're a little bit smarter than that. They know that they can demand a very high premium for that product, and they have to stay true to that. And so I don't think that there is going to be some immediate cutting by putting, sawdust and other cheap ingredients to improve margins, because they have a 70% margin requirement. Most of those big food companies, smaller food companies can get away with 25, and that's still kind of thin. But those Kellogg's and the Unilevers and the Procter and Gamble's are looking for 70 gross margins.
Right.
So I don't think they're going to play with that right now, but usually 3 to 5 years, you start to see a little different and smaller containers.
Oh yeah.
Slowly start cutting back.
They've got probably some of the best, highest paid experts in terms of factory processing, those kinds of things, right? Where they can walk in and say, wait a minute, you get some inefficiencies here. If you, use this container, smaller quantity, and, this machine, you probably get, you get into the margins, a little improved margins from, 60% to 75%.
And their supply chain team will be able to do that.
And then supply chain stuff, right?
Yeah, they'll be able to find cheaper jugs through their network than, same supplier that's supplying the Metamucil jars will supply them. Be able to get some efficiencies that way. But if they're smart, they won't play with the formula yet.
I've heard that the protein that we find in protein powders is supplied by 3 or 4 wholesalers only in this country.
That's true. Okay. Especially the whey stuff.
Yeah.
So there's very few whey suppliers that are doing that. And the whey prices are way up because everybody's trying to incorporate it in their cookies and their
and their proteins, like the big.
We had this conversation too, and they're doing the same thing with creatine, right?
Yeah.
Putting it in everything.
Yeah, which finally creatine's having its day.
Yeah.
It's been around for 20, 30 years and everybody's been taking it. But today, they're even saying grandma should be taking it.
Yeah.
And it's for everybody. So that's unique because there was always a fear, is creatine good for you? You always read those articles.
Yeah.
So what's the product that we need to invent here at Diablo so that we can get in on this action?
Well, I'm one of those guys that I have a lot of founders or people with an idea, and they'll come to me and go, "Hey, Tim, what do you think?" And I'm that salty old man, telling them to get off my lawn because I try and talk them out of going into this business because it's tough.
It's tough.
Yeah.
And there is that short shelf life if I want to sell it in 5 years and be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Well, we all do. There's always one person in every category that gets lucky, whether it was meats.
And that's the one we hear about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you think it was an overnight success, but you don't hear the 20 years that it took him to get there.
Yeah.
That's the other part. We talk about RX Bar and we think, oh man, 600 million, those guys amazing. But we do remember
they were grinding, and all those little events.
I mean, those little events, you do enough of those things and you got to get out of the bed in the morning and you're behind in your bills and you're not getting any income. And you got a kid coming on the way and you're like,
but it was
I gotta go
12 hours.
I gotta do the Contra Costa throwdown over at the Concord High School and sitting at 10 by 10 tent.
105 degrees out.
It's a little hard to picture 600 million 2 years from now.
But the thing that really took them to the next level is their packaging. That no BS.
Oh,
where they
that's
listed
right.
the
Yeah,
ingredients
just
on
straight on the front of the thing.
Nobody was doing that, and they got a lot of extra publicity because of that.
Interesting.
And suddenly it opened up a lot of doors for them. And overnight, they got distribution because of that. 6 almonds, 2 egg whites, no BS.
Has anybody else tried to replicate that?
That's
with any other
fascinating.
brands?
I do remember that was really cool.
Yeah. No. We're trying to do more claims on the front, but you have to be careful too, because
Right.
you know, there are people out there waiting to sue you for false claims.
As soon as they see something off.
I probably spend 40% of my time as president at Calbee dealing with lawsuits, whether it's with employees or whether it's these class action lawsuits for Prop 65 warnings or other class action lawsuits for mislabeling of, hey, you put in citric acid and I believe citric acid does this. So we have to spend a lot of time doing that. And that's the annoying part.
Here's the other thing too, is that AI has, spoken to attorneys, AI has made it much, much easier for people to raise these kind of claims. Because now you got idiots that come up with these claims in an effort to try to generate some income. And now they got a smart AI that can write it and make them sound like they're smart, but that knows and understands, or knows and understands the loopholes and the processes for getting action on those types of things.
And all those lawsuits are public, so everybody has access to them. So you could take a lawsuit from New York and replicate it in California, and you don't have to spend a lot of time copying that, because it's out there and you can run it through your AI filter and make all the changes that you want. And then they're serving me papers on it.
That and on your label, 6,000 peas, 3 bushels of wheat doesn't sound as good as like 6 almonds, 3.
Yeah, it doesn't. But the funny thing about peas, I get a lot of crap about peas because actually 22% of the population hates peas. In the U.S.,
that's a fascinating feed the peas underneath the table.
You fed them to your dog when your mom wasn't looking.
My brother used to hide them in his
napkin or shorts.
The potato, the
potato skins.
Yeah, the potato skins. You put them inside the potato skins.
There's a snack for you. Potato skin covered.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey,
1 potato.
That's right.
1 potato, 200 peas. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll talk you out of
throw that out there.
I'll talk you out of going into that business.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, all right. But the point being though, that people do have just wonderful ideas, and I could see them just barraging you, and it is important to be that guy.
No, and I think CrossFit has always played a big role in that. When I was at Archer, we sponsored Burke Wells, and the thinking there was that she will be out in front of her people eating our products, and people will say, wow, if I eat that, I can be like her. And, that's the magic, the secret sauce. Consumers are lazy. They're always looking for the easiest way. That's why I think supplements are going to have even a longer chance to shine for probably the next 5 to 10 years, because people are finally recognizing that their diets are very, very bad,
very deficient and stuff.
Better ways to supplement. So that was smart for Unilever. That was smart for Procter Gamble. Athletic Greens. I don't know if you just
I do. Oh,
they
AG1.
AG1 just came out with a gummy, because that's what Groons was able to do. Groons sold to Unilever for crazy multiple.
Gummy that tastes like weeds.
Tastes like weeds, So instead of putting it in a pill, you put it in a gummy, and that's what everybody's eating now. So that's now our new delivery system is gummies. So
especially with kids, it's really easy to get their vitamins up that way. Here's a gummy. Oh yeah, something chewy they enjoy.
Right.
So you're going to see probably a lot more of that too.
My daughter's 22. She likes CBD THC gummies. And it's a good delivery system. I lost my train of thought. I wanted to stay on this. Sec Foods. Where was I?
Gummies. We were talking about gummies.
Yeah, we were talking about gummies.
Delivery systems.
Yeah, that's one thing that you and I had a conversation about, was that you went the last well, I don't know if it was the last one because you've probably been to a few more of the trade shows. There's the trade shows, and at the trade shows, the stores will go around and talk to the various vendors. You'll have a booth there, right?
Correct.
With your product, and then the stores with the buyers will come around, and then you take them out at night. You get them drunk. You get pictures, compromising pictures of them. Then the next day, you ask for a contract.
Yeah, you still don't talk about it though.
And one of the things you mentioned was the gummies and the creatine gummies. And the big issue was like how much creatine really is in those gummies. And same thing with protein and vitamins. I'm wondering, you see your kids takes the gummy vitamins. Does anybody look at those things and go, okay, how much is really in this? How much vitamin C is really in this gummy?
Yeah. So what's interesting is usually you take that to a lab and then you do a class action lawsuit to sue the company. So you were seeing a lot of that, but now you're not. It's the competitors are taking it to the lab. That started with Lenny and Larry's a long time ago. Lenny and Larry's always had an argument about their protein content in their cookies. And it wasn't consumers that were questioning that. It was that other company that also had a protein cookie that was saying there's no way there's 20 grams of protein in that cookie. So they were doing the lawsuits, and you end up spending a lot of your marketing dollars to fight those things. And some companies make it and some companies don't.
So it's kind of a matter of being able to survive through these attacks, essentially.
Yeah. So you got to be ready for that up front. Wow. And that is one good thing about AI. You could probably ask it those questions. What should I be worried about? Or can I get sued if I launch this product? This potato with your peas stuffed in it?
Yeah.
How much?
Peaskins.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. I sell a lot of those.
How much? Does insurance cover the legal costs for those kinds of things?
No, you got a budget for it. So
shit.
Like you said, then you end up having to take some money out of your marketing and stuff.
Do you guys have
reallocating?
Do you guys have an attorney on your team?
Yes. Yeah. They don't work for us, but we have an attorney on retainer.
Oh, on retainer. Okay.
Handles a lot of different types of lawsuits.
Yeah.
That's wild. I didn't realize there would be that many lawsuits coming at you. Like, from just simple. I mean, I realize people are out there trying to take advantage of it, but still, like,
consumers, municipalities.
Yeah.
We use a lot of water up in our plant in Oregon, and there was a meter being read incorrectly for a year. And so, they sent us a bill and said, you owe us $1 million. And so we had to really dig into that. Figure out, who's right and who's wrong and who's cheating. So we spent a lot of time on that and ultimately, settled, but spent a lot of money with lawyers to figure that out. So it comes in all angles at you, and you got to deal with it.
And there are people that know that companies will settle, before they fight because of they just weigh the cost.
Yeah. And that's where the back and forth goes, and you usually end up doing that. I'll give you $10,000 if you just go away and leave us alone and sign this waiver that you're not going to sue us at least for another year.
Right.
And then you make the change to your packaging, or you take that claim off the bag. So pretty soon you're just going to see bags that don't have any claims because we're all going to be worried about it.
And I understand how that, that's where the Consumer Protection Agency came about. And I know that there's been abuses in the past, but from the corporate side of you or from the business side of you, there's also a part of you that wishes it was 100 years earlier when you could just send someone out to beat their ass.
Exactly. Shake them down.
Yakuza start showing up.
Exactly.
Yakuza. Way to bring it all the way around, Jamie.
A good comedian always does that, Jamie. Good job.
Protein, creatine. What else are you seeing? Are you seeing vitamin D creep into stuff?
Not so much. Magnesium.
Oh yeah,
is having. That's probably the next thing, and calcium again. So calcium was kind of out there for a while. One of the things that I found out in Japan, they're very calcium deficient, and we're not. And the reason we're not is we eat a lot of cheese.
Dairy is high,
not just the dairy part, because they don't drink a lot of milk over there. But most of the people in the U.S. aren't drinking a lot of milk to get their calcium, but they do eat a lot of cheese. So
Right.
cheese really gives the Americans the calcium they need.
Oh, that's
So-
fascinating.
Yeah.
So in other parts of the world, we're talking about, trying to supplement or fortify our snack food products with calcium.
Mhm.
But here we're talking magnesium. We're talking about some of the other
You guys, you don't have
ingredients.
a Cheez-It type product?
No, we do, we use a lot of cheese flavoring on our foods. We have real cheese in a lot of our product, but we don't have a base that has
Enough
any
to provide the
type of-
calcium.
Do you have a lab for creation of product?
Yeah, we have an R&D center in our Madera plant, which is over by Fresno. So we've got about 11 people in that lab, and they'll usually kind of take some of the products that are made in the U.S. by other manufacturers or are products made by other Calbee groups and see how we can Americanize them for the U.S., change their profile a little bit to match U.S. culture. Because we're a little different than the rest of the countries. We like flavor and heavily flavored and heavily seasoned. And in Japan and other Asian countries, they're very lightly flavored so you can taste the food.
Right.
The potato is more important than the seasoning. And here, it's
super hot ultra Doritos.
Turn your fingers orange and you can't get it off for 3 days. So that's important here.
It really is fascinating. Americans. What was cool was watching all the international fans come over for World Cup and then doing the TikTok videos of their experiences with some of our snack foods, the barbecue places, and they absolutely loved it. It was just, and it is something that is fascinating about America. We have extremes when it comes to those types of things.
And it's weird because, when I do travel to Japan, they all appreciate their different cultures and their different flavors, and it's very special to them.
Right.
And I think about, okay, well, how do we have that here? Okay, yeah, we do have deep dish pizza in Chicago, and we have Creole flavorings in New Orleans, but every province of Japan has its own unique food that they get really excited about. So when you travel there, you eat that food that's very special to that part of the country. And they would take a lot of pride in that. We kind of don't. So when these people came over for World Cup and got excited about Buc-ee's or, Texas Roadhouse and all those types of things that we take for granted, it kind of made me appreciate it a little bit.
Same thing. Yeah. I would agree with that. That's fascinating. And what part of Japan do you travel to?
Usually Tokyo, obviously, is where our headquarters is, but Kyoto and Osaka. I've been to Hiroshima a lot. We have a factory there.
Okay.
And Osaka. Already said Osaka. Those are the key areas.
How long are those flights, by the way?
The flights, I like to take the bullet train because the bullet train is a lot of fun.
Oh, in between cities.
Yeah. So
everybody says that. It's
get up to 140 miles an hour, and it's pretty slick, and it's on time, and it's clean, and it smells good. It's not like BART.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like opposite of what you see here in the Bay.
So
that's unfortunate too.
I know.
And but you fly. Oh yeah, you're going east. So you well, hang on a second. Do you fly west to get there?
Yeah.
Out of San Francisco, you go San Francisco, Tokyo nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, 12 hours.
And then okay, that's not
it's not too bad.
Do you get to go business class?
Yes, you're allowed to do premium economy.
Yeah, premium economy,
which is just a little bit bigger seat.
Yeah, and it makes it a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, a little bit.
Remember that business class was, and then but you fly enough now. Do you ever can you get upgraded on those?
No. Those are hard. Those tickets to that business area, man, it's another $5 or $6 grand. So
wow,
it's expensive.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people going that direction. There is a love of the Japanese culture right now among Gen Z. Anime and manga are hugely popular.
Yeah, a couple of our brands we're going to sponsor or do a licensing deal with Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay.
So one of our brands is going to do that, and the other one is going to do the Sanrio, the Hello Kitty portfolio.
Yeah.
Kind of play with that a little bit because the fans of that are very loyal, and they will buy whatever you make that has that licensing. Mm-hmm. So we're going to start doing a lot more of that.
Are any of your products you have here distributed in Japan?
No, because of the yen versus dollar, by me selling products over there, what would typically cost $5 here would probably have a retail that would be very hard for folks in Japan to pay for that. So I really can't do any exporting. I do a lot of importing. So we have our products made in Japan, and we bring those over here. Like Jagariko is produced in Japan. That's one of our bigger brands. We have stuff that's produced in Thailand. The shrimp chips are produced in Thailand, so we bring those over here. But yeah, we don't do too much export because of the value. The dollar is so strong.
When does something become classified as a healthy snack in your guys' estimation?
That's a tough one, because everybody's got a different version of that.
What's healthy? What's considered what's to be considered healthy?
So the big one recently was the 100-calorie bags.
Yeah,
that
was
kind of thing.
That was a good one. That really helped portion control, and it obviously helps a lot with GLP-1 users. But the thing
another topic I wanted to talk about.
The thing I'm fighting right now is ultra processed foods.
Yeah.
So I'm a board member of Snack International, which is kind of the snack food association that lobbies Washington for a lot of the regulations that are coming down. And Maha movement wanted to talk about ultra processed foods and what that definition is. And honestly,
did you wear your CrossFit shirt?
Well, I offered if we needed some people to go to testify, I was going to do it. But luckily, they pushed it out. I think they pushed it out to 27 to make that definition.
Okay.
If once
clarify it, yeah.
Because I mean, your definition of ultra processed foods is probably going to be different than Jamie's, right? So is the government ready to make that that declaration? And we have to fight to make sure that doesn't happen, because consumers will stop doing that. Like right now, the people that own the salad places like Sweet Greens, their sales are still suffering from the cyclosporus thing. So people said, okay, that's it. I never liked salads anyway. I'm definitely not eating them now because I don't want to have explosive diarrhea. And so those guys are really suffering. So
dude, you want to kill a food? Yeah. Remember the Lay's potato chips, the leaky anus thing?
Yeah.
This product just say explosive diarrhea.
I knew I had to work that into the day too. It's funny.
I'll take the headaches. I'll take dizziness. I'll take a little upset stomach. But nobody wants explosive diarrhea.
I told Melanie, I said, in 2020, we ran out of toilet paper for a virus, right?
Oh, yeah.
And now, we have the cyclospora thing with explosive diarrhea, and there's not a shortage on toilet paper. So
weird.
Weird how that works.
You see butcher box.
So we got
exactly. More people are just like,
I was going to go carnivore.
Give me the meat.
But yeah, I could see that, because the ultra processed foods it's like we use it as a term basically to talk about, and this is one about the Doritos on the shelf or something like that. Which even then I'll have in small quantities. It's like but there's this obsession now with ultra processed foods, and I could see that you wouldn't want to have that classification. That could be because there is a portion of our society that says, boom, I just won't eat ultra processed foods. Well, okay, I'm a big believer everything in moderation, especially those things that are high in sugar and high calorie content. It's, and then as often as possible eat real food. But that classification would be a bummer.
It would be. And the states right now are the ones that are taking that over. We used to say to the government, don't let the federal government decide, let the states.
Yeah.
Well, now the federal government said, let the states do it. So every state's going to do it differently.
Oh, good Lord.
And that for me is really hard.
Right.
Yeah. You're talking about all the potential litigations that come up from that.
And you got to get an attorney in every state.
Yep.
Because they have to be licensed to practice in every state.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. I don't think about that kind of stuff.
No.
And that gets past, that affects the consumer eventually.
Yeah. That's why when people look at me, they go, well, Tim, why are you so angry? And those are the things I'm thinking about.
What about the SNAP?
The
SNAP dollars, and how did that affect and impact your guys' business?
Yeah, we've been talking to Congress for the last 5 years since I've been with Calbee about SNAP, because they've pushed that back to the states too. When we wanted to make sure that, they weren't excluding snack foods from SNAP. Now, personally, as a healthy guy that cares about fitness and eating right, I kind of have I'm on the fence with this one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But my livelihood depends on the sales of snacks.
Yeah.
About 30% of consumers or 30% of snacks are purchased with SNAP dollars.
Wow.
So it's important that, we continue to fund that and that they don't exclude snacks. Now, right now they did candy and soda.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay.
That's legit.
Let's stop there. Because if you come after snacks, then, I have to make up another excuse to my bosses about why I didn't hit my number.
It's like the butterfly effect. It's really fascinating because we don't think about these things, right? So and it sounds great, right?
Like a full chain reaction.
Right? Yeah, full chain reaction. It starts to affect the revenues of smaller companies, especially. It gets directly affected, which it now increase. That loss of revenue means loss of profits. Loss of profits means loss of jobs. Loss of jobs means like
no more business.
The ripple effect is remarkable, actually.
Yeah. And the lawyers and the accountants all continue to get rich off of all this.
Yes, through the process.
Mm-hmm. So they love it. They love a complicated tax system, and they love a complicated food system as well. So
that's fascinating. How about GLP-1s? I heard a number today that 1 out of 6 people are taking GLP-1s,
and the numbers in the future are even
going up,
even worse. But so far for us with Harvest Snaps, especially, it does have pea protein in it.
Yeah.
So we're not fortifying it. We're not putting any whey in there. So it does have a decent amount as well as fiber. So those are the two things that the doctors are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So my goal with my marketing team is to get out in front of the nutritionists and dietitians with all the retailers who are basically have pharmacies in their stores and trying to get them to say, hey, if you're going to crave a salty snack, which most people do, right? You're either a sugar person, a sweet person, or a salty person. I'm the salty person. I like nuts and chips and stuff. So if you're going to do that, here are the brands you should buy. And so I want to make sure that I get my brand in front of them that say, hey, Harvest Snaps is a good brand to eat when you're craving salt because it's not fried and it does have protein and fiber and it has pretty healthy ingredients.
Yeah.
It's nice to see salt getting somewhat of a comeback.
Yeah.
Sodium and magnesium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that was another fight we had against sodium because the government was coming out and saying, okay, we're going to have to limit and regulate that. And of course, the first place they go after is the salty snack sack.
Yeah.
And I would always say, hey, my bag of chips has less salt than a can of soup, which it does.
Yep.
But just because, pretzels, for example, you can see the salt on the outside.
Yeah.
Hey, that must be the saltiest food out there.
Yeah.
And salty snacks aren't. There's a lot of other processed foods.
Well, and they're starting to discover that salt doesn't have as big an impact on blood pressure as was
like we're
previously thought.
Blaming salt for what sugar
did.
It
came out of one. So it came, as I understand it, it came out of one specific study that was using mice as the subjects. Yeah, and it was measured. They were measuring
blood pressure, right?
Yep, blood pressure, and in mice with increasing sodium intake. But it was mice, not human. It was a human trial. That's where all of the mania around salt came from, which is really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you think about people that like went on completely low sodium or no sodium diets.
Yeah.
And then were impacted by that.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law for one of them. And then she's got salt back in her diet and felt better and
no more cramping, right?
Yeah. No more cramping. High blood pressure's in check, so she's fine. You're training at 5 a.m. You work in Fairfield. Fairfield's about a 30 to 40 minute drive depending upon traffic, right? Is that why you train it?
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons. When we were living in Phoenix or Scottsdale, I was going to 6 o'clock because I was working out of the house, so I could be done at 7 and kind of get online and start working. But getting back home and getting cleaned up and then making that drive. So yeah, 5 a.m. just works better. But when I first started doing CrossFit about 13 or 14 years ago, I was doing the 5 a.m. So it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Especially in Arizona, it's cooler.
Yeah, it's kind of nice
5 a.m. And
so
you can really beat the heat by doing it early too.
13 years of CrossFit.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Do you drop into boxes like when you go back to Japan?
Not Japan. There's only one over there. It's weird. Going to Japan to work out is really hard. The hotel gyms are really bad. They'll have a treadmill. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
I went to a Gold's Gym and dropped in there, and they have a section for the women, a section for the men. They can't use the same machines. You got to cover up all your tattoos. So luckily I don't have that problem, but that's kind of weird. So you have to
fascinating.
You have to either wear long sleeves or they'll give you Band-Aids to put over your
Interesting.
tattoos. But it's not a big thing over there. So it's really difficult to find a place to work out. And
yet they have a healthier population.
Yeah.
yeah. Because you're gonna walk 20,000 steps every day. Because you walk
more active in general, just throughout the day.
Yeah, and the food is not as processed as what we have, and not as salty and
fuller.
And so you can eat a lot of good fish, and it's just a different experience. But yeah, I do like to drop in. Most cities that I go to, I found the place that I like.
Cool. So you got like a go-to spot that you go to.
Spot, yeah. Or a hotel that has a good hotel.
Yeah.
What time do you wake up?
4:15.
And do you what time do you go to bed?
I try to go to bed at 8:30 to 9.
Okay, good. So you're getting
unless you're coming back from travel.
I'm coming back.
7, 8.
Yeah, right. 7 or 8 is great.
Okay.
So I'm trying to do that as much as I can. Melanie makes fun of me. Why are you going to bed at 8 o'clock? And
then she comes strolling in at like 7 or 8. I just felt like sleeping today.
Do you wear any types of monitors, like Whoop monitor or anything like that, to measure your sleep or track your sleep?
No, but I know when there are a lot of nights as we get older, we go make more bathroom breaks. And, and that ruins everything. So
oh man, that does.
So I have to watch my water intake as the day goes on, so I don't have to go get up a couple of times.
Have you done? One of the things I do is an LMNT in the evening, which is the elements. And that helped a lot. Just having sodium within an hour or two of bedtime.
Do you do that every night?
Pretty much every night. Yeah.
So that'll take one of the visits away.
Yeah.
Oh.
Takes. Yeah. I make it all the way through the night.
Oh, there you go. That's thank you for this.
Yeah.
There is one thing I'm getting out of this. More sleep. I like it.
Yeah, dude. It's that was a bit of a game changer for me.
I like that.
Yeah. Because getting up at the 3 a.m. and then coming back and knowing you're gonna have to get up in another hour and a half. Sucks.
Yeah. And then you fight with yourself. Should I just get up now?
Oh yeah. And then
if I'm waking up that early, I'm just gonna be up,
dude. And then instantly all the start engines are like, no, we're up. Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
All levers go.
Exactly.
Huh. All right, right on. And how many days you get in about 3-4 days a weekend?
No, I'm if I'm in town,
you're pretty consistent
every day.
Yeah, that's great.
I think that's what's cool about Diablo is some of the other places would just wax you to where you wanted to take a couple of days off. I think the warm-ups are so good that older people like myself, I'm not so beat up that I need to take that time off. I like coming here, so working out 6 or 7 days a week isn't a bad deal.
Oh, that makes me happy.
The other boxes, it was hard.
Yeah.
Shoulder always hurt and everything was sore and my back hurt.
In general, CrossFit, Diablo's average population age has certainly gone up with demographics.
Yeah.
We're probably in the middle 40s now in terms of our average age, but I talk to our coaches about it often, about making sure that warm-up is thorough. And we tell them, look to the oldest member in class. Find that member, keep an eye on them, because when they're warmed up, then the class is warmed up. And they do.
Is that why everybody's looking at me?
Now you know.
Come on, Tim.
Oh, man.
Jesus,
I just thought I was a good warmer up.
Dude, touch your toes.
Wake up.
Extend the arms all the way overhead. I did one this morning. I had him this morning laying on their backs, and I do the shoulder press movement where we're on the ground, and it's just an instant evaluation as to who's got crappy mobility, and I call him out.
And I loved when he called out men too. He's competitive. He's always trying to be better. His mobility sucks.
It can be good. It's working for it.
That's right.
Yeah, it is. Admittedly, myself, it's hard to get motivated to work on it, but Yeah, and I'm glad to
It's
hear
good.
that.
It's
And
good,
I would tell my advice to CrossFit gyms, any CrossFit gyms that happen to listen to this podcast, the warm-ups are an awesome investment in your community. They will, like Tim mentioned, they will thank you for it down the road.
Yeah, it generally hurts me when I hear somebody like, oh yeah, they just had a thing on the board. And you just it's over there. Warm up. We'll start in 5-10 minutes.
I've heard that before.
I've been there
many times, and it hurts. I hate hearing that.
That's the us when we were in our 20s, or 30s. We could walk in, you could I'll do a little bit of that warm up, and then okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Well, that was my original intention when I started CrossFit. I was just going to learn some stuff and then go back to Globo Gym and do it. And I realized that I won't be able to do that.
Yeah.
I need to be told what to do, and I need to have
That's why I love class.
And even just the social aspect, the social environment.
That's a huge part of CrossFit now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't get that. So.
All right. Well, we're at our time cap. You've got to get to work.
Yes, I got to go sell some harvest snaps.
Right on, dude. Go with the ultra cheese spice version. That will sell a shit ton, and make it healthy with creatine and protein.
There you go.
Yeah.
That'll be delicious. And come up with the
potato skin.
Peas in the potato skin.
Now, if it does go viral and it's massive, then you'll hear from my attorneys.
Oh yeah.
I've learned from this podcast.
Let me give you I'll leave my card so you can send the deposition over.
What was it? What's his name? The attorney, I'm ruining it. Yeah, Saul Goodman. Well, Saul Goodman.
Right on. Well, thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Until next time.
Sweet.
That was fun.
Yeah.